So it's me, Vivian, again, and you're on my channel, Talk with V. Today we're going to be, so this is my second video, and you can go to my channel and check the first video. My first video. Welcome to my channel. This channel is going to be dedicated to fashion study and body shaming or body image issues. So I'll be dropping videos, one video dedicated to each topic. I don't really have a definite plan due to time and all, but I sure will be posting videos, uploading videos regularly so that we can have a smooth journey. So this video I'm going to make is going to be my first video on fashion study series. So the next video I'm going to post is going to be on body shaming. So I'm going to be alternating it. For today's video, the topic of today's video is why are you studying fashion? Why the decision to want to study fashion? Because before you can study fashion, because this video is about teaching you how to be able to study fashion the right way for yourself, the ways, the venues or the resources that you will need, the places you could learn fashion in. But before you learn fashion, before you actually go ahead to study fashion, why are you studying fashion? You need to be sure of the reason why you're studying fashion before you continue. Right. I don't know if I'm making sense here. Right. You can't just wake up one morning and say, oh, I want to go and learn fashion. I want to go and learn how to make clothes or how to do this and that. No, there has to have been a thought process of, okay, this is what I want to do. So we're going to be talking about it today. Why do you want to do this? Because there's so many things involved with studying fashion that you really have to be sure that this is what you want before you go into it. Else you'll be wasting a lot of time. You would have wasted resources, energy, finances if you do not think it through. So I'm going to be asking you a few questions or putting out a few points that I expect you to ask yourself and think of on your own before you actually decide, okay, go into a program, maybe in a school, or go as an apprentice or an intern to study fashion. So before you study fashion, number one, you need to ask yourself, do I really love fashion? Do I really love the fashion industry? Do I really want to be in the fashion industry? Do I love fashion? Am I happy when it comes to fashion? Am I a fashionable person? Do I think I will be a good fashion stylist? Do I love fashion? Okay, some of you have the ability or this innate ability to be able to take the ordinary pieces of outfits or fabrics and turn them into something special. Pair one thing here. You already have that innate ability in you, right? Does fashion interest you? Does it excite you? Ask yourself. Why you're not somebody who is very creative in fashion? You might be good with the business side, right? But you have to be sure that you enjoy fashion ideas. Do you love fashion? You need to ask yourself that. Do you love fashion? Do you really want to do fashion? Or is it because of peer pressure? Or do you feel that, oh, it looks like people are making a lot of money out of this fashion thing, let me do it? Because I'm telling you, when you're doing something as a creative that you do not love, you burn out real quick. So you need to be sure that you have the desire for fashion and everything fashion related. So second question is, what are your reasons for studying fashion? Why do you want to study fashion? Do you want to study fashion because you want to go into it as a business? Or you're studying fashion because you are a very creative person who is tired of all these boring clothes that actually don't fit you, or they don't look nice, or you feel like, oh, it could be different this way, or you see some videos and some styles and you're like, oh, I really want to recreate this for myself. We know some people like that. So people have the desire to, oh, I love creating, I love dressing people up, and then they go into it for a business, right? Or some people just want to make outfit because, well, I like this new hot outfit and I want to be able to make it. I really want to be able to create it with myself, do it yourself. If you want to go into it as a business, you would learn it differently from when you want to go into it as a hobby. Yes, a hobby. So if you want to go into it as a business, I would say the best way to learn fashion is to go into physical training. Online training will not do you good at all. Go into physical training and properly vet the places that you want to go to. Do not be deceived by social media. You need to go by yourself physically to wherever it is that you think you want to go. Maybe you have 3 or 4 options. Go and see them. Ask to be shown where you'll be learning. Ask ask for the processes to be explained to you before you make your decision. You really need to learn from the best. You really need to learn from one who knows what they're doing. Like I say, when you want to learn plumbing, you don't go to someone who wrote a book on how to learn plumbing. You have to go to a plumber who is actually working as a plumber currently. So it's the same thing. You have to properly vet and know where you are going to be learning from. And if you're interested in fashion as a hobby, you do not plan on making it a business. You want it to be something that you can make outfits for yourself, new styles, create beautiful designs for yourself and maybe for your friends. Do not bother to go learn physically and pay huge amounts of money, because when you're learning physically, it takes more time and it takes more money. Do not bother about that, because it's just going to be a waste of money, and most likely you would get what did they say? You would get you would lose interest quick, because you want it as a hobby. And when you see something as a hobby means relaxation, stress-free. You begin to see it as stressful, right? So you might be like, oh, this wasn't what I signed up for, and it would kill your interest in learning fashion. So you have to think about it. Why exactly? What do I want to do with whatever skills I learn? That you'll be offering your services, your fashion services to people. Fine, please do go for physical classes, for long classes, maybe spanning time of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Do internships. Learn how people are running their businesses. That is for you who wants to go into it as a business. If you want to do it as a hobby, to make outfits for yourself or for your friends and family, please do not do that. Just go learn on YouTube. There are many channels here that teach on YouTube that teach how to sew. And then as time goes on, if while learning on YouTube and on the net, you actually find out that you actually want to go into it as a business, or that you would like to know further, you like to know more, then you can go and register for physical classes. Maybe you can try the short physical class of maybe 3 months that is focused on one particular outfit. Some people offer classes that are focused on how to, maybe a 1 week class on how to fix collars, cut and fix collars, or 2 weeks classes on how to bead, things like that. You can take a little short class. The question that you're going to be asking yourself is, what aspect of fashion do I love and do I want to study? Right? Fashion is wide, and I can't really go in deep right now on the different aspects or the different sections of the fashion industry. We're going to be making another video for that, for those of us who are wanting to study and know, okay, where do I find myself? Where will I find myself? Where will I be able to realize my full potential in the fashion industry? We have the men's outfit, we have the children's fashion industry, we have the women fashion industry, we have the size focused or fashion industry. We have the illustrator part of the industry. We have pattern drafting. We have those who cut. We have the machine operators. Fashion is so wide, so you need to think, like, what aspect, like, let's say you're going into it as a business, or you want to get better about it. Think well, check more, do your research and try to discover what is it in fashion that first piqued my interest. Blogging or vlogging, is that what I like the most? That is also an industry. Is it styling that I like? Do I want to sew, or am I really interested in drafting patterns? You need to find that out. Make sure that you that whoever you're learning from knows a lot about that aspect or that section of fashion that you are more interested in. You understand? If you're more interested in sewing and you really want to know how to sew and couple pieces together and bring out an outfit, and you go to a person who is only good at cutting and isn't really very great at sewing and good finishing, that is a no-no for you. In fashion school, you need to focus more. You need to pay very detailed attention to making men outfits if that is what you are more interested in. So find out what aspect of fashion interests you the most and focus on that while studying. Okay, so we are halfway into the video now, and before we continue, I would just like to say, remember that the topic for today is, before you decide to study fashion, before you start studying fashion, that is what we're talking about today. What are the things that you need to consider before you actually take that step into being a fashion student? Before we continue, do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to like, do not forget to comment, and do not forget to share. Please. So now, the next thing we're going to be talking about are the disadvantages and the advantages of studying fashion. Now, we have disadvantages and we have advantages in studying fashion. I'll tell you, those people who have studied fashions either in fashion schools as apprentices or as interns did not find it easy. And many people drop by the way because they get burnt out, or they do not have the grit and determination to say, say, I started this, I'm going to see it through to the end. So we're going to start with the disadvantage. Number one disadvantage is you will find fashion difficult at first. You will find learning difficult at first. You will find learning difficult at first. When I started learning fashion, God, it was hard. It was difficult. Number one, because it seemed like, there's so many cutting patterns, there's so many information you need to store, so many things you need to know. And beginning is as simple as A, B, C, D, E. And then the next step is as hard as the quadratic formula. I hope you guys remember that when you're secondary school, the almighty formula, this and that. You know how hard quadratic equation was? Imagine going through from ABC to quadratic equation. That is how fashion is. But like I said before, it was hard at first. But when you put your mind to it, I'm telling you, it will look like a piece of cake. So that is the first disadvantage in fashion. You will find it hard at first. So you need to prepare your mind. I am going to do this. No matter how difficult it seems like it's going to be, I am going to do this. Number two disadvantage is if you're not great in math, you'll find learning process quite difficult, because fashion is a lot of calculation, especially when you are cutting. If you're going to be cutting, patterning, sewing, you need a lot of mathematics. The tape rule is in numbers and in centimeters. It's in numbers, so you have centimeters, you have inches, you have you have degrees. When you're patterning, you have to place some your ruler at a particular degree. We work with rulers, we work with pencils when we're drafting patterns. So you need to up your math game. So, and I know that there are not a lot of people who don't really like mathematics, right? But some of you are gurus in mathematics. So good for you if you find it easy. But if you do not like mathematics, I'm sorry. You have to really go and up your game and really put your mind to learning math. So, number three, this disadvantage is you will be discouraged. There are a lot of discouragements in fashion. And maybe like, is that a disadvantage? Yes, it is a disadvantage. Discouragement is a big disadvantage in a learning process. When you're not encouraged, maybe by people who are supposed to encourage you, or by how would I put it? Or by your own slow progress. When I first started learning, I was actually really, really discouraged. So at first, maybe I expected great results from myself, but it didn't come. And I would make outfits for myself or for my mom or my siblings, and then there will be mistakes, and maybe they might not be able to get the outfits totally condemned, or they didn't like some things about it, and they'll be like, oh God, I thought you were learning for a while now, why haven't you been able to do this? And then I'll feel so bad and then beat myself, and I'll be discouraged. And then you tell some people, oh, I'm studying fashion, and they're like, oh really, but you're going to school? And I say, oh yeah, I'm studying it in school. They'll be like, who studies fashion in school? Being discouraged, because many people, once it's not a degree in medicine, in law, in engineering, most people dismiss other artisan degrees, and people really dismiss the fact that, why would you be studying fashion in school? And I'm like, because I want a degree, and if I can get a degree in fashion, that is a plus for me, especially when I want to process some things. It's a plus for me. I stopped. And then when you make outfits, so it was a disaster at first. Like, many outfits, many fabrics I bought that I wasted. Many things that I tried that I couldn't wear, people couldn't wear, right? So I'm going to be saying then, like I said, number three disadvantage is that you'll be discouraged, because you make a lot of mistakes and people will beat you down, because you beat yourself down, because people will really say a lot about you because of it. So I'll advise that for these aspects, when you start out, while you're still learning, do not take outfits from people for a fee. I do not take on styles that you cannot handle. If I know you want to try something, make sure there is somebody who knows better than you, guiding you in the process, and make sure the person has enough time for you so you do not do it on your own. So advise that so you do not get discouraged and get tired or lose your interest. Do not take outfits from people in your beginning stages to learn. While you're learning, don't take outfits from people to make. You can make outfits for yourself and understand that you could never get it right the first time. Make a lot of mistakes, make tons of mistakes, but learn from your mistakes. Please do not let the first or second mistake discourage you from making more outfits. And be proud about your fashion degree. If you're studying it in school, be proud about it. Shout it to the world. Do not be like me who stopped telling people at a point. But later on, now I'm proud to tell people I studied fashion in school and this is what I do. And it has actually opened doors for me because people and employers are open to taking me in when they find out that I studied it in school and I have a degree and I also have other knowledge, so I learned pattern drafting in school. I learned illustration in school. That those are two skills that many people do not have. That has set me apart and has put me on a different level. Apart from, I've been able to work as social media manager for fashion brands. I've been able to work as customer care for fashion brands because they're impressed by the fact that I can handle clients, which are one of the things that you might not necessarily learn when you go for apprenticeship because they will not let you go near their clients at all for fear of, or maybe you might take their clients from them. But when you learn it in a fashion school, fashion business is being taught how to handle yourself and you know how to operate with people, especially when you go for internship. It gives us this edge over those who go for apprenticeship. And then the number 4 disadvantage is the expenses. Dun dun dun. You might not know, but studying fashion is expensive. So in Nigeria, anywhere. In fact, it is cheaper here in Nigeria than studying abroad. Studying fashion is so expensive because number 1, you need to get tools. You need to get your sewing machine, you need to get your scissors, you need to get tape rules, you need to get pins, you need to get table for cutting, you need to get iron, you need to get rulers, you need to get pattern instruments for patterning, you need to get cutting instruments, you need to get sewing instruments. And I tell you, these things do not cost in kobo. They do not cost in hundreds of naira. They cost thousands. You need to get fabrics for practicing. So imagine that you have to buy yards and yards of muslin for every practical you're doing before you actually go into making fabrics. And you need to buy interface. There are a lot of things that you need to buy and it's expensive. So while you start learning, you might think, oh, it won't take me a lot. I can just get this, get that. But along the process, you actually find out that you need to buy this. You need to buy that. You need to buy this. You need to buy that. And you'll be like, wow, I never knew I would spend this much. So before you study fashion, realize that it is going to be very expensive. So if you need to save up, if you need to have somebody who's going to bankrolling you, please make sure that there is a steady source of finance for you. Because when there is no source of finance and you cannot do your practicals, you cannot practice or you cannot have some tools that are important because you do not have money, it slows down the learning process. It makes the learning process stressful. But when you're able to buy everything that you need to make your learning process easier, then it's so sweet for you. So now, let's move to the advantage. And before we move to the advantage, I'm going to say again, if you know that you've enjoyed this video so far and you know that you have gained a lot so far, please kindly subscribe, kindly like, kindly comment. Please subscribe. I really need you to subscribe. I need you to like this video. I need you to leave your comments, leave your questions, whatever it is you want me to talk about. Please leave the questions down in the comment section. We're going to move in straight to the advantages of studying fashion. Number 1, learning fashion is so much fun. It's so much fun. I tell you, when you look past the stress and every other thing, it's so much fun. 80% of the time, learning fashion is fun, I tell you, because I think that whatever you're doing, if the fun is a big part of it, then I think it covers up every other disadvantage. Number 2 advantage is the accomplishment and the joy from every accomplishment, from every successful outfit or from successfully learning fashion covers every disadvantage. I'm telling you, there's this peace, there's this feeling you get for every outfit that you do right, for everything you get right while learning and even after learning. It totally surpasses every disadvantage. So number 3 advantage, which is the best for me, like which is the biggest, the best, the most mind-blowing about freaking shit, is that you get to live your dream and be creative. That you do not know how many people wish to be creatives, wish to be artisans, but they cannot do it. But you love fashion, you've learned fashion, and now you can go out into the world, be creative, create your own ideas, wear your outfits, wear your styles, wear your designs, and share them with people. Like, imagine being able to, setting out to accomplish, to achieve something, an aim, and you're able to achieve it. I mean, I think that's the best thing, if you ask me. Like, that's the best advantage in studying fashion. You get to do what you want to do. You can make a lot of money. You go ahead and make money. This is what we're going to be stopping for today. Our next video is going to be about body shaming, bullying, and then the next one after that is going to be a continuation of our Before You Study Fashion series and How to Study Fashion in Nigeria series. So most likely the next video is going to be talking about the different areas of fashion that you could study. So we're going to be breaking it down, and I'm going to be explaining better to you the different areas of fashion that are available and those that are how would I put that, are required and important in the Nigerian fashion industry. Because before you go into something, you have to be sure, especially if you're going into it as a business, you have to be sure that you're going to be getting the most returns out of it when you're done learning. So you have to check what aspects of this industry is needed more in the Nigerian markets that I need to focus on. Because I need to tell you, we need to work hard and work smart. You can't just be a creative and not make money from it. You get tired of being a creative person. So you need to also check, okay, what is needed, what people or what skilled people in the fashion industry are needed or employed the most. And you need to check that. Is this something that I love doing, or is it something I can grow interest in and build myself in, so that you'll be able to make money from it and also be able to make a living from what you've learned. So we're going to talk about the areas of fashion. We're going to compound further and further and in more videos. So I hope that you've learned one thing or the other. I hope you've learned a lot from our videos now. Kindly subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, put on your post notification to get notifications from when I post and upload more videos on this series and on the body shaming series, so you can get more information. Do not forget to like. Please leave a thumbs up for me. Do not forget to comment and share. Please share. So if you have anybody who needs to watch this video and subsequent videos that I'll be making, kindly share my videos to them. Share the link to this video. Spread the word to your friend and to your friends' friends. Come here and put on your post notifications. Do not forget to do that so you can know when I post more videos. Please leave me a comment, subscribe, and thank you very much for being on this video with me till this long. Thank you so much, and do have a nice day. Bye.